right, guys, so for your do now, I want you guys to observe this image. So this is an image of frogs that live in the rainforest in Ecuador. So the frogs that live here are all the same species. Observe them closely and describe them in your Google form. I'll give you guys a minute to do that. Go ahead and pause this video and go observe them for your do now. All right, so you should have written in your Google form or typed out in your Google form right now what these frogs look like to you. So if you're observing these frogs, you see that there are different types of frogs everywhere, right? You see that you have, let's look at it. You see you have some with different colors on their skin. You see some are yellow, some are, different colors. Looking at the feet may be a little different. Here you have three little, toes, while you have four here. And then you have red ones, so forth and so on, right? So you have different kinds of frogs here. All right, so the next thing I want you guys to do, I want to make sure that you guys understand your CFS. So here, I want you guys to define a population. You're going to be able to define a trait. You're going to be able to carefully observe the physical characteristics of species population. You're going to identify at variations amongst the populations and describe the variations in reference to a population. I've already went over your TEKS. And I've already went over your objective, but I'm going to go over the why. Why are we talking about natural selection? Well, natural selection helps to explain the design in nature. It helps to bring clarity in regards to organisms and our species evolving through the process of adaptation in order to survive and reproduce. Think about us, guys. We had to adapt, right? We were used to going to school in front of a teacher, in a classroom full of students, and now we've had to adapt. So that's the same way that animals have to do in nature, and we're going to study it. Here are your norms. I want you guys to be present, be active, be positive, work hard, and make sure we're nice, okay? I want to go over a few things. Let's think about abiotic and biotic factors, right? Levels of organization in an ecosystem. Remember these things that we've already talked about. So this here, you see, it's a population. Just one of them will be an individual, right? And then we talked about a community, but we'll talk about that. We don't need to talk about that right now because we've already learned it. So we're going to focus on a population, right? Remember, populations comprise of all the individuals of a given species in an area at a certain time. Not all individuals are identical. Most importantly, not all members of the population are equal in their ability to survive and reproduce. You have a video that's embedded in a Google form. I want you guys to watch that video. Once you watch that video, come back and finish playing this video. Go ahead, pause it now. Okay, so if you're watching this, then you should have already watched the Google form, and you should have watched the embedded video over the poisonous newts. So in the video, you were asked to answer the following questions. If you haven't already done that, go ahead and do that now. All right, so you should have already watched the video. Once you watch the video, you'll think about Dr. Alex Young, who's the main character in the video. Yes, Dr. Alex Young is a fictional character, as in the park where she works. However, the newts and other living things that live in this park are real organisms that live in real parks in the state of Oregon and throughout North America. So I asked you to do two things. What do you think the wildlife biologist is studying, and how has the newt population changed over time? So let's think about that first question that I gave you guys. So what do you think wildlife biologists study? If you said something remotely close to wildlife biologists study living things in nature, they research things such as they research organisms and how they are developing within nature, you're correct. You should have said something similar to that. And then how has the newt population changed over time? You should have said something similar to, at first they were they're not as poisonous, but they're noticing that they're starting to have a very high level of poison inside of them now. So they're becoming even more poisonous over time. So if you said those two things, you're absolutely right. All right, guys.